Hello, hey YouTube, how's it going? So I'm sober, I suppose, as in I'm not drinking, but my God, am I absolutely knackered. I've just had two folk, one person picking up a guitar, one person dropping off a guitar. I was like, right, you need to be away by 8. It's literally, you can hear his car leaving. And the condition was, you give me a can of Red Bull. And hopefully I'll wake up. You have sound? Yeah. Hey Sam! And Daniel. Hey Seven! Hey, it's the first time I've ever been late. 1 minute past. No, I'm going to play for 5 minutes at that. Hey Ronnie, hey Pontiac, sober, don't drink anyway. Well, I actually stopped drinking when I moved in here, when I stopped hanging about with my pals. So because of you lot making me, I never ever drink alone. So when I'm on like YouTube and all you're talking, I'm not alone, see. It's kind of like it's my excuse, basically. But to be fair, I probably didn't actually drink that much last night. I know it was dead hard to tell how much. Or I don't know if I put it in the thing. I was playing the Wolstonbury Festival, which is basically the drummer in my band Cranking House. He's got lives out in the middle of the country, and he's got a barn. It's a gym, but he took all the gym equipment out, and he had a 4 bands on and free bar and all that stuff. I was just going to basically drive home, not bother drinking. But when he set this thing up 8 months ago or something, it's like, what, do you want anything for the bar? And I was like, up here, yeah. Can you get optics with Bucky on it? So he'd already set it up, and he'd a big barrel and then a thing with optics with 4 bottles of Bucky on it. So I couldn't not drink. So I just slept in a tent last night in October. Yeah. The problem is, I've no idea how much Bucky you drink when you drink it out of glasses. Normally I know when I've got my bottle, you go, how drunk should I be? I'm halfway down. Because I very rarely drink any more than 1 bottle of Bucky. Hey Vince, hey Finn, hey Jez, how's it going? This might be a shorter stream, but it's not a steam, it's a stream this time. Seeing as I'm basically on the Red Bull. I might start going a bit mental, actually. Yeah, so I was playing guitar. I was playing by Shockingbird, which actually did pretty well, although both me and the bass player from Cranking House now realise what we need to be able to see is the dots on the side of the necks of the guitars, because there was sort of disco lights on and it was dead dark, and the disco lights ability to, so you could see the fretboard. It was fine. It was fine. About to change chord, darkness. Right, that's what it just went pitch black every time you had to try and see where you were. So tours are kind of, yeah. So we're going to get some glow in the dark dots or something like that. Also, not practiced enough. Kind of went okay. I did video. I stuck the GoPro up in a corner, and I was kind of really cringe about what it was going to sound like, but it was all right. Especially since I couldn't hear myself. It was all you could get was noise. So it's like when I stopped playing, the noise stopped, but when I was playing, it was just no actual notes, and it's like. So all my solos were, I know this song's an A, so I was really just sticking to ones that I was totally sure by looking at it were in the key of A, rather than doing what I normally do, which is listen to what I'm playing and then maybe, bit of slidey and stuff like that. No, just keep it pure simple as possible. Well, there's a lot of people on tonight. It's like, rocking, spike the likes, dudes. Hey Tyler, and where are all the tech tips? Do I have a new tech tip? I've got a couple of AK188. And Craig and Ravensmead, way. They're just having a small sherry. Okay. It's like sherry's not that different from Bucky. If you want something that's quite, I think sherry not fortified wine as well? I don't know what sherry is. I think it is. That's basically what Bucky is, but it's got some monk's herbs in it. I don't know. I mean, this is obviously secret ingredients, but I'd imagine it's probably coriander or something. I don't know I have no idea what the ingredients are. But yeah, so played in Cranking House. Kind of went all right. We need to do less covers. We're really bad at covers, but we had to put in Born to Be Wild, Breaking the Law, which are really the Shocking Bird does not like Breaking the Law. Breaking the Law, Judas Priest needs a humbucker, single coil. It's kind of actually this is much deeper sounding than that guitar is. Making it up, and I think at least two of the three songs I forgot how to end it, so we're just kind of going. I'm just playing a solo. The band are like, really another solo? Like you've already had your solo. It's like, yeah, because I didn't know where I was trying to end it. And then the Led Zeppelin band were awesome. Followed by Black Sabbath after the end, and I used my two area basses on the wall, and they performed fantastically. I did clean them. They're like proper, even though I only played like two songs in that. The sort of running down at an angle, just sweating Ming. It was just absolutely pounding it, thundering because I knew what it was doing. Hey Scott, I'm sober tonight. Maybe XPX Paps. So I've no idea how long I'm going to keep this going or what I'm going to talk about. I don't know. Ask me anything. More chances I'll know what I'm talking about rather than just giving you the usual abuse and super lots of opinion. Hey Kevin, but one of the because there was I wasn't drinking before it was on, although I did manage to in Cracking House I got the singer to ask somebody to get me a glass of Bucky, so I got one on stage, and then when we were playing in Black Sabbath, there was really small gaps between the songs. I didn't actually really have time to do much drinking, and I managed to we were playing War Pigs, and it so we'd already started. It was like, this is the second last song. After playing the bass, and it was like. And I was so chuffed that I managed to do that. I mean, literally risking the whole band, being a complete bastard, risking the whole band that I could just pure mess it up. And I was like, and I figured that because it was like a wee plastic cup, and Ali's going to replace his carpet anyway. I was thinking, as long as I get it in my mouth and it's like I can just fling it. So now there you go. If you're ever playing War Pigs live, it is possible to get the glass off the window shelf, take a drink, put it back on the window shelf. Yeah. Hey Jeff in Wastos Garage, Australia. Awesome. Yeah, fine. I'll be back on it next week. To be honest, I'm probably still a bit pissed. Well, maybe not pissed. I felt I was staying in a tent. I borrowed a tent off my pal, I think it was a 2-man tent, and I had my inflatable mattress with a built-in sleeping bag and a duvet and a woolly hat because I was thinking it could be, dying stuff. It could be really cold, so I was thinking you can survive the Arctic with it, and went down and I was like, no, I've already put up a few tents. You can have one of them. No one else wants to use them, so I was like, all right. And this thing was in what do they call it? It was a blackout tent. It means that in the morning it doesn't heat up and it's dead bright, like it's going to be dead bright. It was raining, and an 8-man tent. So it was like me and my pal Ivor, who was just going to sleep in the car. And it was like, no, man, if you got a sleeping bag, just so the two of us in an 8-man tent, and it was totally fine. He just had a sleeping bag and a pillow, whereas I had my inflatable mattress and lots of jumpers and basically so many clothes, there was no way I was going to be cold. Pontiac, has anyone played Fuji Gen guitars? I haven't, but in the video you saw me, or if you saw one, me and Scott were at a place called Merchant City Guitars. They had a few of them, and they looked awful good. And there's one on eBay right now, right? I haven't bought it, and I'm not going to buy it because it's kind of the similar color to my Schecter, and I don't have the money for it. But it's like a year old or something like that. Fuji Gen Telecaster, made in Japan. It's got CFS, which is circle fretting system. I don't know what that is, but obviously you want to have that. It might be, is it maybe like a compound radius fingerboard? It might be, like a 7¼ inch radius here, and it gets flatter as it goes up. I don't know what the circle fretting system or a way of putting frets in, but it's 290 quid for a made in Japan Fuji Gen Telecaster. It's not quite a Telecaster, but it's a really tastefully done, not quite a Telecaster. It looks really good. You said it is cheap. I think 300 quid. That's at second hand, but I mean, that's like, you're comparing that to, that's not even a high end Squire. Like, and I think it looks. I wish I'd had a shot. I need to go back into Merchant City and actually have a shot of them. I just feel a bit guilty going in and playing a guitar when I'm not going to buy it. I'm just being really nosy, so I kind of feel a bit guilty about that. Best tent guitar, Def Microphone. I don't know. I reckon you probably want one that's got. Do you want locking machine heads? Do you know what I mean? Ones that don't have. Actually, you want like Clusson style. There's the tuners that have got the slot at the top. You put the string in. Because I just think of being in a tent and going and then catching the side of the tent on this and ripping a big hole in it and basically not having a tent anymore. So I would go for one that had Clusson style tuners on it. I've actually got a Squire Mini Strat the other day, something like that, perhaps. A tent. We had to sleep under a bush back in the 4th of January. You had a bush. You used to have to. It's $800 new. Well, I don't know what the exchange rate. I think they were. I seem to remember Merchant City they were like, was it 500 or 550? Which, to be honest, it's Fuji Gen. That's Fuji Gen. Fender Japan or Fuji Gen. Oh, you want a Fender? How much is a Japanese Fender tele cost? It doesn't cost 500 quid or 600 quid. It's a lot more than that. But if you're in the UK, have a look at that. If you look up FGN Telecaster, it's on my eBay thing. I'm watching it, and the day after I was watching it, it was like you get the email that's on the special offer. The seller's reduced the price, and it was like, oh no, if it's 250, I'm going to buy it. If it's 250, and he'd knocked off like 6% or something, so instead of being 290, it was 280, and it's like, right, okay. To be honest, it's a beautiful guitar, beautiful color, but it's very similar to my Schecter Telly, and it's not going to be as good as that. But I like it. I think so. There's actually, see if you look up the only reason I know about Fuji Gen guitars, like the actual brand FGN, is there used to be, it's probably still on YouTube, there's like a factory tour thing of, if you type in tour of a Japanese guitar factory, that's the only one that comes up, and they're kind of doing it to promote their own brand. I mean, they're still making, I'm pretty sure that Fuji Gen still make the high-end Ibanez and Fender Japan. So how much does a Japanese Ibanez cost? You're like, could be good. Hey Daniel, what amps did I use last night? I took my trusty Softtech. I just ran through, I don't know if you remember a while ago, I had a speaker cabinet. I did a video where I was playing through 8 12-inch speakers because I got a free speaker cab off Gumtree. It was a grotty moldy one that I basically cleaned and painted black again, put my own speakers in it. I was playing through that with the Softtech, and I did take that amp as a spare, but I didn't actually use it. I just used the one that was there. It was a Hughes and Kettner 200 watt something that a previous bass player in one of Ali's bands years ago left it, and they kept trying to phone him to get it back, and eventually the guy stopped returning his calls. It's like, all he was saying is, do you want to take your bass amp away? Maybe slightly smaller than that, because I put it on top of that just to bring the bass amp up a bit. They released my band on YouTube. Not really. Well, the Black Sabbath one, yes. If you type in, After the End Audio, because the place we played, that was called Audio, where we're dressed as I've got monks outfits on and stuff. We do actually I did actually video last night. I've just shown it to the rest of the band, but I've not actually heard back from them yet. I maybe put a song of that up. Just people would like to see that. I don't know. I mean, see if it was really tech savvy. I mean, to be honest, I felt okay when I came back. I must have got up. We got up about, I don't know, 10 o'clock or something. Had our rolling sausage. Came home, so I was back for sort of half 11, 12, and I thought, I feel pretty good. That's fine. That's fine. So I've messed about doing some guitar stuff, answering emails, sorting out those, taking stuff off the GoPro and making up those videos. I was like, that's fine. About 4 or 5 o'clock, I started thinking, I'm a little bit sleepy, but it's like, if I go to sleep now, I'll not be able to wake up. And then I basically woke up at 7:10, and my pal Ronnie wanted to drop off a guitar, which I'll show you in a minute. I'm saving it for a wee bit. In fact, I can actually touch someone else's guitar on a live stream, so I'm not drunk. So it's fine. And then pal Cameron wanted to pick up his Francis Rossi Telecaster. And this has all had to happen before I went live. It was like, and the condition was like, right, but you got to only be here for, it's like literally drop off and pick up, and you got to give me a can of Red Bull, and both of them agreed to it. So I do have 2 cans of Red Bull, and that's probably why I'm still talking just now. Hey, Stephen. No Python for real. Dumped in the middle of nowhere and left to figure out your way back. Great fun. I thought you were talking about my amp, which actually has real Python panel in the front. The amp did well. There is a bit of a learning curve doing the gig thing. Totally fine with the Black Sabbath band. It was fine because we knew it. Whereas we had a bit of run of bad luck in the Cranking House band because we're doing our own stuff. So you don't really know what it's meant to sound like. Like the best it's ever sounded is what it sounded like in the studio. So it's not like with Sabbath you go, well, I know what the album's meant to sound like. I'll just play that. I don't need to hear absolutely every note. But we were meant to. We're kind of good. It must be what, 5 weeks ago. We kind of decided on the songs, and we got them to a standard where we could play them. Maybe not the first time, but within the first 2 times without having to stop and starting again, sort of thing. And then about 3 weeks ago, we got into the studio, and it was like pure right, and we managed to get all the way through every song. First time, it was a pure. There we go. All we need now is one more rehearsal, and we can play our half-hour set 3 times in the 3-hour thing. We didn't get in 2 weeks ago because we couldn't get a studio right. We need to get in last week, and Pat, the singer's wife, bought him a surprise holiday away for a week. So we had no right. We managed to play all the songs. The first time we'd ever managed to play all the songs without making a right mess of it, and actually to get to the end of all the songs was 3 weeks ago. So need more practice than that. Ridiculous. Hey, Burnsy. But it went down well. And basically, if you're going somewhere that's a free bar and nobody paid to get in, did make a bit of a mistake with it. It was my fault. I suggested, it's like, we're playing the Black Sabbath band. We've got like a 40-minute set, so we played for 50, obviously. But I'd be right, what songs to play? And I was like, well, I have to play National Acrobat, you know, because it's a pure obscure. It's a pure obscure Sabbath, Bloody Sabbath song. If I saw a Black Sabbath band and he played that, it'd be like amazing. We have to do that. And it's like that for anyone who goes to see, who's enough of a fan to go and see a Sabbath band, something like that. It's brilliant. And this wasn't our gig though. This was just lots of people there drunk. So played Black Sabbath. Everyone loved it. Played NIB, dancing, shouting, screaming. Played Fairies Wear Boots. Got the place was absolutely jumping. This is a song off Sabbath, Bloody Sabbath called The National Acrobat. And one guy, yes! And like everyone else went to the bar. They're like, So basically, when we're doing a gig that isn't a Black Sabbath gig, what we should be doing is playing Iron Man or something like that. Does your wife or boyfriend? Sorry, I don't have a wife. What a boyfriend? Got a girlfriend. She's in Taiwan just now though, so no, she doesn't ever come in here. I haven't seen her in nearly 2 years because of the COVID thing. It's mental. She's at Mothcote. She was in the chat. I think it's like Taiwan's like 9 hours ahead, so she's probably gone to bed. On the videos all the time and stuff like that. I'll get round there. She's a bit mad with the guitars as well though. It's all right. I got round it one time when she was over, and it was like I had to. I'm sorry, I know you've just arrived, but I had to bid on this guitar because it was a guitar and a bass, and I think it was maybe 2 amps, a guitar, a bass, and a bass amp, and it was in a place called Lanark. out in the middle of nowhere, pick up only. I think it was starting bid 20 quid, and it was ending at like 10 o'clock on a Tuesday morning. And it was like, right, I'm sorry, I'm gonna have to bid on this. So I bid £25 and I got it for 21 quid for an Ibanez SGR bass. I think it might have been was it a Squire Strat and an Ibanez 1520 watt bass amp for 21 quid. And then so I took her out to lunch down in sunny Lanark, and we went there, and when on the way back up, took her out to dinner, and I was up here. The bass was fine, just needed a clean. I set it up, put it on Facebook Marketplace. I think it was 80 quid, which is still a total bargain, or 90 quid. So it was like, it should have been 150. So I put it on, and I sold it, and I met the guys. We went into town, and I met the guy at Avalanche Records. I was up here with the bass. The guy was totally over the moon. So I was like, that's the one you just bought this morning. Yep. But you only paid like 20 quid for it, and you just sold it for like 90. Yep. But the guy was really happy. It was a really good deal. That's amazing. But you've got another guitar and a. So since then, do what I want. It's great. Had trouble getting in. Doorman smelled beer on me. This is the teetotal sobering society. Caffeine's all right. So I'm basically, my caffeine levels will be the same as a normal bucky time. Still in bed after that. Hey, Rob, how's it going? There's our Bucky monk there. He did awful well. We did really well. The video's pretty good. Is there a song that I can like edit out and so I can put it on my YouTube channel? I don't know. It's annoying. We didn't have I should have asked someone to film it. I didn't, and it was like, so you're sitting there. It's like we're on in 5 minutes. Got my GoPro. I know from experience you can't put it if I put it on the stage anywhere. There's no sound. So there was behind where the sound desk was. There was like, because it was a gym. There was like lots of gym equipment that was reviewed. There was this big frame thing that hadn't been removed, so I just kind of had it just sitting up in the corner of the room, pointing down, and I set it to. Normally the GoPro's got like a wide angle lens, but it had narrow. And actually, it's not that bad. You can actually see us, which isn't too bad. There's terrible lighting. You can see. I was complaining earlier on about not being able to see the fretboards. It's pure pitch dark, and then it's a disco light. The monk thing, yes. Well, we didn't do it last night because we just ran out of time. We had a plan, and you think about these things, but by the time the drink starts flowing, and then everyone's going behind, and the band's going, and everyone, it turns out thinking you've got 20 minutes between bands, and actually you get 3 minutes, because we were on band Cranking House. Were on second, and the first band was a punk band, and then it was like, you're right. So they ran runs with 15 minutes to get before we're ready to go on, and you're standing there, and the guys like that with his lead spear. I'm like, yeah, because I had to change over an amp head and set up and plug in and tune in and so basically when I came offline, it was just like immediately you're right, all my stuff. I just got off and then sat out the front, putting the guitar in its bag and all that. But the plan was we were going to put the monk robes on. We were going to go outside, right? Outside the venue, outside the barn, go and get changed in Ali's house. And then we were going to, I don't know, phone ahead and get the sound guy to play Supers Are, I need distortion for it. It's all choral singing, like they've got and fiddles. It's pure super evil. We're going to get that to play, and then we were going to come in like nobody'd seen with the cloaks on, doing this. Like walk like this, and we were going to have the singer at the front holding a candle, and everyone was it would have been amazing. But we just played in jeans last night. It wasn't a proper one. Do I have recording facilities? I do, Tony. I do. I haven't used it. In my last house, I've still got it. An ADAT, 2 ADAT machines, which is like a digital 8-track that records onto super VHS tapes. So I've got 2 of them linked together. They link together. Okay, so basically a 16-track, and I had like a 16-track desk and an 8-track Mackie input desk, and then tons of rack mount gear. And basically, I spent ages building the best looking studio. I had my old house had like a combed roof, like a combed ceiling, and I had effects in the roof, so it was like the Millennium Falcon. So you're sitting there, and it's like the roof going back, and I had like the reverb and stuff above it, and it was like, that was amazing. But I didn't really have anything to record, so I did record my own solo album, which has never actually been. It was before I had a computer, so it's never none of it's ever been seen live. Burn the Witch was the best song I did. Burn the Witch, da 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 da. So maybe suggest that to Cranking House actually. Yeah, only two Sabbath, anything off Sabbath Bloody Sabbath, apart from the song Sabbath Bloody Sabbath. Yeah, but Sabbath Bloody Sabbath is the second best one. The best one being Sabotage, which is just immense. That was the first Sabbath I had. Was the song Paranoid was on a cassette I got on my 18th birthday, a mixtape, and I thought that was amazing. And then I went in and bought Black Sabbath Greatest Hits on cassette, the one with the ancient painting of hell on the front of it. And then when I started buying records, first time I was ever in, and it's for some reason I can remember, it's August '94. I bought Sabotage, and then the following week I bought Sabbath Bloody Sabbath, or the following day I bought Sabbath Bloody Sabbath on record, and I put both of them on a cassette, and I used to listen to it in my Walkman. This is before I could drive, and that was just the best double tape, two-sided tape ever. I couldn't believe how good it was. Wiki claims that West Tone was owned by Unicorn until '79. So not Matsumoku. So not Matsumoku after '79. Well, I do believe there were West Tone guitars, but I've never really seen any of them like pre the Thunder and the Paduk, whatever it's called. They were 1980 or 1981, and I believe they were owned by Matsumoku. So when it says not Matsumoku after '79, you mean not Matsumoku before '79? Yes. I think the first ones were 1980 or 1981. And yes, they could very well have been an American company. They might have been built at Matsumoku. Yeah, so they might have been like all of these things that they might have been built in that factory, but owned by someone else. I mean, Epiphone used to get guitars built in there. Epiphone was never owned by Matsumoku, and same with all the Arias for years. These are both Matsumoku guitars. Aria or Mr. Arai didn't own Matsumoku. Didn't own them. He just used that factory, so he just subcontract out. Whereas West Tone, all Mats till '79, right? And I think all Mats owned and built till '87. I think all the West Tones. Then there was ones they kind of actually followed this. This is the kind of last one. This sort of headstock. There was a sort of Telecaster called a Clippo. Oh. Some great Sabbath style songs. Love you to help me demo them with the band. Well, give it a go. I don't know how I would demo them. I mean, to actually record them, I don't have it's not, none of this stuff's set up. I don't have any room in here. I have thought about it. I keep thinking of buying it. Nick and Crackhouse has got like a wee, is it the Boss BR or something? It's like basically what used to be like a 4-track. And it's like you start doing that, but the thing is you go, a 4-track, maybe see if it's just an 8-track instead. And then eventually you just end up going, basically see if I just got one of the ADATs. It's like basically looks like a VHS machine, stuck it there, had like the wee desk on it there. I've got a digital 8-track analog style. And so I don't know, I'll work my way into it to do it sometime. I don't really have the desire to write songs just now. It's working quite well having Pat, the singer, and Cranking House. It's like, because I can write riffs or come in with like ideas, like for verse and a chorus type thing, and then he'll just go, all right, aye. And then he'll just do all the words and put the vocal melodies in and stuff. Yeah, I mean, I'll send them to me. I'll listen to them. I don't really know. I don't really know what use I would be doing it. Tony, I have seen Saxondale. I don't really remember. I do remember it's got Trying to Find the Music at the start, which is Return of the King by Focus, but it totally sounds like Jethro Tull. I remember finding that. Don't really remember it. Aria 1532's late 60s, the headstock could be, yes. I don't know. They had a different. I'm not sure. It was Mr. Aria that went to. He did a couple of things. One of the things he did was he went to America on a sort of a business venture thing, and realized that Japanese guitars were thought of as really shit because the necks were sort of warped and stuff because they were kind of going from Japan down round the South Pole and then back up to America. So the temperature and the humidity and stuff just went nuts. So the guitars were amazing in Japan, but after they'd done that journey, they were never really the same. So that's why they ended up making the super bulletproof ones, the 3-piece necks and all that, and basically they just upped the quality mental. Body, I know the one you mean. Yes, I actually kind of not unlike that, apart from got that sort of Tesco-y type look, Woolworths guitar type look. I know the one. Yeah. But also, it was, I don't know if it was him. I can't remember who. One of them went to, was it the NAMM show or something? And I don't know, this must be mid-70s. And it was like, hold on, why are all these people going mental for the 50s, the pre-CBS Fenders and the 50s Gibsons when they've got new ones? And then it was like, oh, they're much better built. So the Japanese started making guitars, maybe not the same shape, same way, or a similar quality level as the 50s Fenders and the 60s Fenders and that's what these are. That's why they're so much better than pretty much everything else. I don't know where I've never gone early enough in the Japanese, but I'm just a wee bit scared when you go back too early, like pre-70s. You might, because although they did make good guitars, my Arbiter Flying V is very good, and actually, not yet. Once I get bored of things to talk about, I'll show you what that is, which I very nearly bought. I sent it to a couple of my pals, and then my pal Ronnie bought it, and then I was like, I noticed he told me he bought it, and he put it on the Japanese Facebook fan club page. And it was like, yeah, and I was like, yeah, I've been tagged in something. I was like, once Malcolm set it up, this will be great. And I was like, yes, that means I get a shot of it without having to buy it. But it needs intonated. Actually, interestingly, I'll bring it to see. I was saying, what is that? Someone pointed out, I think it was Buster. It's a Fender Marauder. Is that the gold one? So it's not quite a Jazzmaster. It's not quite a Fender Marauder, but it's 95% of the way there. I think this horn's maybe a little bit different, but it's a blatant copy. I was like, Marauder, is that not a Gibson? And what would happen just there is that up comes a Gibson Marauder. I decided I wasn't going to buy it because I don't need another guitar. It's actually fucking really nice. This is the first I've actually looked at it at all. So I'm not really, this could be Fuji Gen, not really sure. It does have made in Japan on the bolt-on neck. Kind of reminds me of my Arbiter, actually. I wonder if it used to be an Arbiter. Right. It used to say, it does, I noticed someone had mentioned it, it's got the wee pinholes. So whatever it was, it had a wee metal badge that was held on with pinholes. Somebody might know what that is. So it's a copy of a Marauder, but then it's got what looked like Bill Lawrence pickups. So that's like sort of, that's Perspex. So a video of that coming up this week once I get around to setting up. I don't know, it's kind of grown on me. Like a Les Paul with a Flying V neck. I think, to be honest, that's what these were. When they first came out, I think you call them the Norlin era, like the mid-70s, when they were kind of, well, we've got a big pile of Flying V necks and nobody wants Flying Vs. So they kind of used the bits they had in the box. I think Fender used to do that as well. Hey, Punch, I still working on your thin line. Not getting much better. Going to change the nut and tuners. Can make a difference. It's unlikely the tuners. I mean, I know a lot of people say, oh, tuners are pure terrible, but tuners generally, okay, sometimes you turn them and it takes a wee bit before they engage, or they're crunchy, are broken. But generally, tuners don't make a guitar go out of tune. I've never had tuners that slipped on even the crappiest guitar. I've had ones that you turn it and it just snaps. Not the string, the actual tuner snaps. And I've had one. What guitar was it? And the tuning pegs, even you turned it, the pegs were made of plastic and they literally just crumbled when you turned them. So this one must have not been touched in 20 years or something. I was just like, but the plastic had just gone like totally, you could literally just go and snap the bits. Terrible. Yeah, spending the time on a tele thin line. I've never come across a tele thin line. Any thin line guitar that's really, apart from, I said this last time, apart from that Yamaha, which for some reason it's like a EX. I really like that one, but it's the only guitar I've ever had, only semi-hollow guitar I've ever really liked or got on with in any way. I don't know why. I don't like the 335s. Grover or Scholler. Yeah, they're much more expensive than Wilkinson tuners. I've got Wilkinson tuners on a few guitars. I've never actually bought them, but you get them in part slots and stuff like that. But the ones I've seen, basically the Wilkinson tuners are just Grover copies, are pretty much the same as the Grovers that are on the Falcon. And then the proper Grovers. I know, yes, you do get Epiphones that come with Grovers. Yep. I'm sure they're made by Grover. They look the same. They are not the same. They look like them, but they're not them. The Epiphones you get that have got Grovers on them, it's a significant upgrade going to the Wilkinson ones. They don't say Grover on them though, but the actual Grovers, actually my talking about that one there, my Arbiter Flying V has Grovers on it, but these things are the most luxurious tuners you've ever seen. I don't know, they must be from the 70s or something, but you just look at them and you go, all right, yeah. I don't want to call these Grovers because that makes them sound like they're just Grovers. These things look amazing. They've got they're the most ornate looking, and you turn them, it's like, oh, it's very difficult for something to be like a tuner to be what you makes you actually go, oh, but these they're amazing. Old ones. Did you see Mike Rutherford playing a Strat Squire Bullet on stage with Genesis? No, but I didn't see. I saw my pal sent me an ad, a magazine article with them, and apparently, yes, it's not the cheapest one because the cheapest one only comes in red and black. It's an Aztec grey, or it's a sort of sonic blue. It's a sort of light blue grey metallic, and in the bus was up here, yeah. So up here, obviously, he changes the pickups and changes the tuners and changes the bridge and changes the neck and it's like, no, he literally uses it stock. He did have his tech set it up, but he's up there in front of Genesis using a £130 guitar with the original pickups in it. He might have I'm pretty sure he said he didn't change the tuners either. He bought it during lockdown when he was he at his daughter's house, something like that. He just bought it and he just ended up really liking it. So he's just like, that's just the one he uses. It's like, so there you go. He's up there playing I don't really know Genesis that much. They're a bit too extreme for me. I'm sure they're lovely people, but I don't really know much about them. Tuska's Synthetic Bone, yeah, I think so. I don't really know much about it. I know that Westone for a while had graphite nuts, and then you get graph tech, and then you get actual bone, and you get plastic. Yeah. I don't. I mean, I don't know what percentage you're talking about with putting on like a Tusk nut. It's like when you've got your Ferrari. If you polish it, does it go faster because there's less air resistance? So, yes, it does. I used to think that with my boat, when I polished the hull of my boat, would go faster. It does. How much? Don't know. If I was going to buy one, the thing with putting a nut on is you're going to spend the time cutting it anyway. So why not? And it's like, you can get like a plastic nut for, I don't know, a £1 or something. And a Tusk one's probably £3. And if you're going to spend half an hour fitting it, you spend the £3, you know what I mean? And just buy Tusk or Graphtech or Bone or something. Then no done. Oh, we're getting caught up. I need to get behind. If you want to get if I'm missing you out, you can always super chat me. Get me a bottle of Bucky for next week, so I don't have to do that sober. I'm actually woken up about that. That Red Bull is doing well. The neck is a shallow V, but I need a 7.25 radius. I don't know if I need anything. That's actually something about that. I think that's a 7.25 radius. It really looks radius, it's a strange thing for a Gibson. Sorry, brain going. The Intonationist is miles out. I think this might be a Fender scale. I wonder if someone's put this bridge on and gone, well, it's a Gibson. So they've made it 24.75 to the bridge. When it's not, it's 25.5. Because I mean, it truly is. It's I'll just check the intonation. Bung. It's pure horrible. As the 7.25s, I never had a 7.25 until I got my first run Squire Bullet, not like a modern Squire Bullet, like an old Japanese one. It was a pure curved radius, and then like 2 weeks later I ended up with the Blazer, which has got it as well. And then since then I've got another one. So I've got like 3 guitars that have the 7.25 radius. I like it. It kind of depends which guitar it is. If you're a like a shredder wanting to do the Megadeth, sort of that sort of thing, you want it much flatter. I don't know. Because I've got so many guitars, I kind of like ones that are just a little bit different. I'm just like, what is this? This is, I suppose I'd just say it's a Strat, really. Kind of doesn't look like a Strat, but that's really what it is. It's more contoured. It's got, obviously, just amazing to see. Okay, that you can't see the shape of the headstock, but you can see that it angles back the way, which makes the whole guitar different. I mean, obviously, between here and here, it's a Strat 100%. That's exactly, well, not, you know what I mean? It feels exactly like it. If you mask that off and said this is a Strat, you go, oh, totally. As soon as you get the angle back headstock, it's like it makes the whole thing feel different, even though it can't possibly be. If that went in a straight line, it doesn't make it feel different, but you're just so used to it. It just kind of makes it, I don't know, it's hard to explain rather than a straight line. It's quite weird if you're used to like an Epiphone or something, you get a Telecaster, it's a straight line, and it's quite weird the other way around. If you're used to a Telecaster and suddenly you get this, it's like it's really bizarre. I don't think you want. I wouldn't go trying to re-radius a neck unless it was something like maybe you're building it yourself. I would normally just expect that you just accept it. Don't like modern flat radius necks. If you just told me if you just told me to write down what I wanted, if you start, well, it depends what kind of guitar it was. If I was going to get a Fendery type one, I would ask for a one-piece maple neck. I would want the 7.25 radius on it, and I would want a deep V on the back. Basically, I've just described my Washburn Force 4. I don't know. It depends what it is you're trying to do with it. That's one of the things at the Shockingbird. One of the things that's shocking about the Shockingbird, in case nobody knows that I'm the best guitar player in the world who plays a Shockingbird. This is okay. It's a Telecaster apart from this bit, but it's got a Telecaster bridge, but it's also Gibson scale and it's got a Les Paul neck on it. So, and that's one of the reasons it's shocking. It did really well at the gig, though. It sounded fantastic. It sounded terrible on stage. It seems to actually have blood on it. I never really thought about when I was gigging with it, sweating on it, what would actually happen to the wood. It's kind of gone brown around the edges and stuff like that. Yeah, I suppose I can always paint it at some point if I really want to. But part of the fun is I didn't want to paint it. I wanted it to be shocking that you can make that you're gigging a guitar made of. And also, Pat, the singer band's like, on guitar, Mad Malco, he's famous on YouTube and he's a luthier. It's like, that's pushing the boundaries. I'm not a luthier kind of. I'd never claim that myself ever. I'm a butcher or a modder, an enthusiast, not a. I ain't no luthier. No, why 07p that? According to that article I read, if you read the article again, it says so. What did he have done? Grover tuners ? DiMarzio pickups ? New bridge ? And then it's mostly stock, unless I read it wrong. I think he had when he said serious work, he did have the frets done by his tech, but I think the rest of the guitar is pretty much. And I think he bought it when he was, as I said, he was on holiday somewhere. He was locked down somewhere, and he bought it and used it for months as it was. It was only when he got back and they were starting to do the gigs thing, he got his tech to fettle it out a wee bit. But I think it's mostly stock. It's much cooler if it's mostly stock. I think his excuse for using it was, it's a really nice colour. Yeah, that's it. I dare say colour has something to do with it. This one's pink. I think that's basically kind of why I bought it. If it had been, I bought two of them. One of them was like candy apple red, actually very nice. If the other one had been black, I'm not sure I would have bought it. It's because it was pink and it was in a grey fur-lined case as well, because of the case. It was like a totally amazing looking sort of teardrop shaped original Westone case. Not now. Don't see very many of them. Oh. Avon, maybe, yeah. I think it could be Avon. Oh, no. Oh, I'm getting. Oh, hold on. I'm getting a wee bit behind. Avon, maybe, yes. Read online a V-neck is favoured by folks that clap to play with a thumb over the top neck. Possibly, yeah. The thing about a V-neck is it makes it, see if you get your hand like that there. If you're playing down here, like, very, 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 makes it feel very, very thin. It almost feels like you're playing like a slide rule or something, or just like a steel rule, because it's only thick in the middle. So because it's thick in the middle, at the edges, here, it's very thin, which is probably the same for the top. So possibly, yes. Tusk nuts are 11 quid. That's quite a lot. I don't think there was as much as that. It depends what it is you're trying to do. I mean, I think a lot. It's one of those things. If you're going to get it fitted by a luthier or a tech, they're going to charge you 30 or 40 quid to fit the nut. So you're going to give them 30 quid and then £2 to buy a plastic nut. So it costs you £32 all in, or you're going to give them 40 quid, where he's going to £30, and then a tenner for the nut. You're going to do the 40 thing. So in that thing, for one of my guitars, I don't know. I'm trying to think. What's on the Shocking Bird is literally just one of the crappy ones you get from China when you buy a bag of them for £1. I didn't even cut it properly. In fact, is it? It's not bad. That's why I put the string butler type thing with the 2 screws on it, because it just kept getting caught in it. And it was actually, I kind of always wanted to do that anyway. I thought it was a good idea. But obviously the middle 2 strings on a Gibson, because it goes into the nut like that and then does that. You've got to cut it well, otherwise it gets stuck. As soon as you bend a note up, it stays there. But I kind of wanted to do the rollers anyway to try it out, and that was a perfect guitar. Also, just by happens, it has this diamond shaped thing on it, so the wee rollers actually fit on there. I say rollers, it's actually a ball end off a bass string with a screw through the middle of it. You could get adjustable brass nuts. Should be interesting to think. I mean, I do like brass nuts. Brass nuts, like the Washburns and stuff, all come with brass nuts. But I don't know how you cut them. I don't want to ruin my frets or files by hacking into brass. So it's like, you just get, I don't know. I like the idea. There seems to be quite a lot of effort about it, though, which I don't really know what to do about it. See if I can imagine. Try not to, every time I go to scroll it down, it just goes, wow, goes through the whole page. A fitted tusk nut. Probably 0 frets. Well, I can see the point in a 0 fret. It's not really an option to fit it to, like, you couldn't put a 0 fret on this guitar, because like the 0 fret obviously goes where the nut is. So if you're starting from scratch, then maybe a 0 fret is the way to go. That would give you exactly the same, because obviously the idea with the 0 fret is all the strings sound the same because they're all sitting on a fret. Whereas if you've got an open string, it's sitting on something else. Whereas if you play, first fret, second fret, third fret, all the frets up, it's sitting on a fret. So you get the fret sound. Whereas if you take it off, it's something else. How different it is, I don't have ears good enough to tell. But I mean, there is something in it. I don't know why some guitars, the Rickenbackers not have them. You do still occasionally get 0 fret guitars. Yes, but you can. It depends what guitar it is you've got. You might find that, see, if you've got like a very standard guitar, like you're looking for a nut for a Fender standard Strat, you can probably get one that's pretty much fitted anyway. Whereas if you've got, it's like, what kind of guitar isn't it? It's like, well, it's they're not going to have, or they might have, but they're not going to be able to tell you which one it is that exactly fits a Westone Pantera, because there's sort of about. You might be able to get it for the SG. They probably just ask you what the, you get the width right, and then That's it. I would definitely opt for getting, if you're getting a nut, get one it doesn't have to have slots pre-drilled or pre-grooved, but it needs to have the marks where the slots are. I've tried making a nut out of it was actually a bone chopstick. It seemed like a good idea. So I was like, starting off with a blank, trying to cut the grooves in it, and it's like it's not easy dividing that into 6. It kind of didn't work. Well, maybe this was years ago. I haven't tried it since. Maybe I could do it now, but I don't like the idea of it. I was interested. I'm interested in how rings out. I'd say it's meant to be rings out on the brass. I don't know. Brass is. There was a thing in the 80s when brass was the thing. So it was brass saddles, brass nut, brass tuners, brass knob. It's like brass was the brass. I don't really know. I think the nut was cut for 9s. I put 10s on it. I think the slots the thing, choking the string. Yes, what was the guitar I did the other day that had that? I changed strings on a guitar last week, and it was like, you see, whenever I take the strings off, try to get the string out, it was like, oh, it's just, I wound it down, and it didn't really slide through. You had to, so basically, I just got my file and just widened the slot a little bit, and it totally stayed in tune. But I've had guitars before where people have gone, right, I need new tuners because it won't stay in tune, and it's like it's getting stuck in the nut. So it's just a case of just, I can't remember. I didn't. Who was it? Did whose guitar was it? I can't remember. But I definitely did it, and the guy was having tuning issues. Was it that Telly? I think it was that the Fender Telly, the sort of charcoal grey one. I think it was that, and it was just. I think it'd been cut perfectly. But the thing is, to see if it's cut perfectly for 9s, you put 10s in it, doesn't. It gets stuck. If it's cut perfectly for 10s and you put 9s in it, it's like, does it really matter? It does. It's not going to slide. Technically, I suppose if you're doing massive bends on the first fret, it might move a little bit from side to side, but not very much. I mean, I built that piccolo bass, and it just had the normal bass nut, and I was like, okay, well, I'll sort the nut anyway. I'll just put it on, make sure it's going to work. And it's like, and you're talking about like going from a bass string to a guitar string, like the high E, and it's like the only time it ever moved in the nut was if you were absolutely wailing it in the second fret, and it's like, but you're bending it anyway, and it just went back into position. So it doesn't really matter on that particular. I don't reckon. Maybe I can understand if you're paying $2,000 for a guitar, you don't want it to do that. But if you're just going for practical reasons, I don't think it matters. Brass nuts work well. Just be careful with the slots, as it can be wider than the string at the fretboard side. Yes, as I was saying there, Jess, I don't think that's an issue. Maybe it is. Maybe I'm. Maybe it's just your luck. What shape the groove is. I mean, maybe if it's if it's like that, as opposed to being, like a square bottom groove, maybe that would move more than one that's got a curved bottom. Because if it's quite curved at the bottom, the string will sit in the middle of the curve. And unless you're absolutely welly and bending it on the second, it's the only time it'll ever move. And as long as it goes back to where it was, I don't think it really matters. If I get a bullet neck, I might change it. All right, you're talking about getting a bullet neck for your what do you call it? Your thin line Telecaster, bullet neck. I don't think that would be cheap. But I mean, the neck on my square bullet is an absolute belter. It really is absolutely stunning. It's basically exactly the same as what's in the Photo Flame Japanese Strat. Apart from I prefer it because that one's I prefer maple to rosewood fingerboard. That's basically it's a Japanese. This level, not better than what most you get. Maybe arguably, maybe American Fenders might be better. Maybe, but that's really it. Or handmade from somewhere. Sober Sunday, hey, up. Right, for Sweden, Roadstar 2 550 Blazer, awesome. 550 Blazer. Yeah, I might get you to do. I'm doing a video with Scott. We did the Blazer one, which really enjoyed doing and talking. As soon as he got another Blazer. I was like, okay, right, well, you've got 2 and I've got 2. We'll do a video. I'll use my Lena and my glow in the dark one. We've got a fair thing. And I started talking from Mr. White, sent me a video and I was like, okay, right, okay. So I was thinking we could do like a video and we'd use Mr. White's video, have it in the like in a picture-in-picture thing on my screen when we're talking about it, because it's a different model. And then Paul Gilbert showed up the week before, playing an Ibanez Blazer, a 1981 one, and he's like, yeah, I bought this. And it's like he got it refretted because he likes fat frets, and he put in DiMarzio pickups because he had to in a drawer in the kitchen. Fair enough. And he got a new scratch plate made because he didn't like the volume control here. He wanted the volume control here, but it's still stock bridge, stock tuners, and the guitar and the neck and that. So that, and he was using it for his Werewolves of. It's not Werewolves of London, Werewolves of Portland. So I was thinking of maybe having a bit of that up. So Joker, if you could if you've got like a video capability thing, if you could take a wee video, just like a couple of minutes of basically just going, yeah, here's my Roadstar 550. It's like and hold it up to the camera and go, here's a headstock, and it's got 2 humbuckers and thing. We could be pretty cool. We could use that in the video. And actually, when I was at the gig last night, about 2:00 in the morning, pure slamming drunk at the barbecue, I was talking about someone was talking about Blazers. Yeah, I'm doing a video, and it was like, and John Carter, who's the guitarist in the Led Zeppelin band that was playing, was like, right, you can have a shot of mine. I was asked him to do the video things. I want you to just take a shot of his one. He's got an RS 1000, which is the carved top one. I was like, that'd be pretty awesome. We could do that for the video. That'd be great. And then I was like, why don't you borrow my Roadster as well? He's got like a 79 Roadster. So it's going to be like a 4-hour video of doing all the Roadster, Blazer, Roadstar 2, and Roadster guitar. Just being nosy, just because we've been looking these things up. It seems to be there's a hive of information. The one I really want is it's on eBay just now. There's a yellow one, and a Roadstar 2. It's yellow. It's got yellow pickups, a yellow painted headstock, and it looks amazing. It's 325 quid, which is an absolute steal. It would absolutely blow the pads off any Mexican Fender ever made. It's 300. And it's been on for a couple of weeks, so you probably get a deal on it. Can slot it up with the guitar strings in a pinch. I don't know how you do the thing. Yes, not slotting files cost a fortune. I refused to buy them. I got this, and you can still get it. It looks exactly the same. This is it's got to be a bit rusty now. This file, I got it on eBay from China, and it was like 6 or 7 quid, and it's super lethal. Like, see, we were talking about cutting into a nut. I was using, the wee stupid files that everyone always tried. The wee red ones you get in a packet in Lidl. You can spend all day trying to do it with that. Use that for the final polish. But this thing, it's like, see if I just put it onto the nut and went, you're pushing down on it, it'd be through to the wood in like 6 strokes. It's super, super violent. So you're actually sitting, leaning it on, and then let it use its own weight to cut it in. But it's really effective. It's obviously much harder to use. But I'm not paying 60 quid for a set of nut files. I can understand how people do. If you've got like a luthier business and you're doing nuts every day and all that for expensive clients, I'm not. I don't have to do the nut on every guitar I've done. And normally it's like occasionally it's just a case of just widening a couple of slots. That file was a great buy. My pal Java told me about that. You can still get it. I think it was £6, 6 or 7 quid. It was good. Aria Night Warrior still online, $170. Don't want the nutlocker whammy bar. I feel your pain. I've got my ZZ Blade Runner. That's my ZZB bass. I've got that. It's a Blade Runner. It's got a Caller on it, and I still need to do something with it. In fact, actually, one of the reasons I've got this out is that is actually a Caller locking nut. But if you look at it, it doesn't actually. I've not got it sitting flat on the guitar. The only reason I used that was because the screw holes lined up with the screw holes already in the headstock on this, so I need to get other screw holes. Actually, this isn't a license for Rose. So I need to get a better clamp for this one so I can put the proper Caller one on the guitar that's got the Caller. But I mean, depends what the bridge is on the Night Warrior. I'm not sure about Night Warrior. Is that a Japanese one? I think it is. I mean, to be honest, I'd be tempted just to hardtail it. It's like if it's got a strap tape trim, just tighten the bastard, tighten the strings up in the back, take the bar out, bang, and then don't bother putting the clamp on. It's good. $170 is not a lot of money. That's American, and if it's a Japanese one, it's an absolutely stunning guitar. If it's a Korean one, it's as good as like a £500 guitar is now. It's it's not as good as the Japanese one. The Japanese one will be as good as an American. Can you retrofit a zero fret? How you'd have to extend the fingerboard first, though. Yeah. Or you maybe get like a unit that's sat on. I think it maybe just depends on the shape of the guitar. Maybe on something like a Fender, because it's a straight neck, you could do something. If you've got an angled back neck, you need to make a sort of wedgy thing. I'm sure it's possible. I don't think it's one of those things. I can just do this. It takes 10 minutes. I think a wee bit more to it than that. I'm just going to go to the bottom. I'm going to work my way back up again. J&D Brothers, unfortunately not sold in the USA. Someone's asked me before about J&D Brothers. Maybe it was you. I didn't know anything about them apart from now. I've now heard about them again, but it might be the same question again. Vintage pink DiMarzios. I like them. Have I drank both those cans? No, I haven't. Good. Always around. I've managed an hour. I'm still alive. That's fine. 17 folk, 12 likes. Come on, up. Give me a couple more likes. That'd be lovely. Oh, but I quite like the vintage pink DiMarzios for this. No, I wouldn't put them in this. But they think the pink DiMarzios could make. My main problem with the Ibanez RG line is it's a bit bland looking. There's something. I mean, they're amazing guitars. I cannot fault the guitars. They're just a bit bland. That's why Steve Vai gets all the crazy stuff put on it to try and make it look interesting. Like this sort of inherently is quite an interesting shape, whereas an RG just isn't. That's why you always get them in funny colours. And the things like the pink pickups are cool. I shave my neck with plastic sheets. 3 at point. I don't think you would. Not saying that you're not saying you didn't. I don't think I would notice what I was using as a shim neck. I don't notice anything with any loss and sustain using just bits of cardboard with shims. Or what they use in the factory is an old piece of sandpaper. I don't know. I wonder, you're shimming the neck and are the strings too low? Is that what's happening or something? I think there might be something else going on. I'm not convinced, but I've actually got a tone wood shim sitting there, and it's like, I suppose, I don't know. I did one time. My pal, the bastard who painted my BC Rich, I fell out with him. He decided he was going to make a Telecaster, but he wanted to put like a Tunematic bridge on it. So he did that. And a Tunematic bridge, or Tele bridges, the saddles sit that off a Tunematic bridge sits up there. So he'd done that right. So what he'd done was don't know how he managed to do it, but he managed to put the neck on, right? And then screw the screws in, but leave a gap of that between the body and the neck. And he managed to get it in tune. I don't know how he managed to get the screw to go through the body, through air for 10 mil, and then into the neck. And it was solid. And it did hold tune, and it sounded awful. Like pure, this is not a guitar. This is, you've just taken a bin and put strings on it. It was atrocious. So there might be something to it if you go to extreme. I don't know if maybe the plastic's acting like a dampener or something. I don't know. There's Scott saying playing cards. Well, I just use kind of fag pack. It's actually one of the things I like to use is the cardboard that you get is quite a big shim. The cardboard you get on like a packet of batteries, that kind of thickness was pretty good. It's not going to compress anymore, or you can tighten it up and it does compress. Is that what it is? Plastic doesn't compress when you tighten it up, whereas cardboard and sandpaper do just a slight enough, which is probably enough to make it tight. That could be. Oh, you've been using walnut to mount pickups for a while. I think you've mentioned that a few times. Because that guitar reminds me of a Westtone Spectrum 3. Well, it's basically the evolution of the Westtone Spectrum 3. I've got a Westtone Spectrum 3. Mine's I can't remember what the colour they call it. It's like silver to blue burst. It's kind of a similar outline. This is, if you look at it, this is carved on the top and carved on the back though. It's just like this is a 1986 version basically. But the Spectrum 3 is my favourite of all the Spectrums, because in 1984 was the Spectrum 3, the only year they made it, and in 1985 they brought out a Spectrum range, which they went from the I don't know, the cheaper ones up to like a through neck one. There's maybe 4 or 5 models, and they changed the shape. It's not a pretty shape, whereas the Spectrum 3 is still Westtone Thunder shape, apart from its Stratty one, so it's got like a Strat scale neck instead of being the Gibson-y one with the Gibson scale neck. And the Spectrum 3, if you go to 1983, it's called the Concorde 3, same guitar. And I think that's the first guitar that was ever HSS in 1983, because HSS wasn't really a thing then. You got it on, like, you know, handmade American Charvels and stuff, but not any mass-produced guitars had an HSS configuration. And I think that was the first one. And basically the 1983 Concorde is exactly the same guitar as the Spectrum 3, apart from by 1984 they had the black hardware was a thing, and the push-pull pots, whereas the Concorde had switches and chrome hardware apart from that, and different coloured paint, but the same thing. Yeah. Tone plastic. Scott's a huge fan of the tone plastic. And someone, Wayne sent me a video, that picture that I did. Didn't know there was an SG3000, like a Yamaha SG3000, and there's so much tone plastic on that. It must be amazing. It does look. I mean, you know, an SG1000 looks pretty fancy. A 2000 looks like Liberace owns it, and the 3000 just looks like, you know, it was made for, I don't know, like a pharaoh or Queen Victoria or something. You know, it's pure ridiculous. Well, it should have been Spectrum. I don't. Did you? Oh, you never noticed? You said, was it? Is it Septum, the thing in the middle of your nose that Francis Rossi lost for taking coke? I read it as Spectrum. I see now that you had written it wrong, but I just Westtone and Spectrum just flow off the tongue. Yeah, no, I really like the. I actually only bought it because I've got a Westtone Prestige, which is more of the Gibson-y one. It does have a Fender-y type whammy bar on it. It's like through neck. It's like an expand, and it's got ebony fingerboards. It's in a carved top. It's a fancy one, but it's pink. It's a sort of light, dark pink to red burst, the most amazing color. And then about 3 weeks later, up popped that Spectrum 3 with the same color but blue. I was like, I'm having that. And I think it only paid. I think it ended up paying £10 less for the blue Spectrum 3 than the Prestige. I was like, that's fine, and it's lovely. It's, as I say, it's more the Stratty one, whereas the Prestige is more the Gibson-y one. And I looked in the catalogue, and the Prestige cost twice as much as the Spectrum, and I paid kind of the same for both of them. So I felt I was a wee bit against it, and I kind of, why should it? I mean, I was very happy with what I paid. It was, you know, I paid well, amazing guitar for the money I paid, but it just meant that the Prestige one was a super mega buy rather than just being a really, really good buy. Oh. J&D Telly, as good as my Squire, also have a J&D 5-string active bass. I don't know, JD, I need to look. Thunder one, yeah. Alright, so there you go, Chris. You've got basically you get the same. Yeah, the Thunder is the Gibson-y. But the thing is, I always thought with the Thunder is it's like a Gibson, right? But it's a bit more Stratty because it does the single coil splitty thing, and it's a little bit more Strat shape. That's it. And then the Concorde, which is the same as your Spectrum, is more Stratty because it's got the single coil pickups, but it also has it's got the Fender scale, so it's kind of like a Strat that does Gibson sounds, whereas a Thunder is a Gibson that does Strat sounds. So it's kind of they're both kind of the best of both worlds. If anyone's in Glasgow and they're looking for a Westtone Thunder, there's one that I've actually the guy name checks me in the things that I've set up by Mad Malco. It's a Thunder 2, and it's honestly almost rivaling that. It's unbelievably pretty. I think, you know, it's the coffee table era, I call that, you know, when it's like just looks like fancy wood. Then later on it became, well, this is an 86 looking guitar, so you get the black hardware, the crazy colours, and then, you know, sort of the 84 one, it's, you know, thing, you can always tell what year a guitar is just by looking at the fashion. So like your man there with his 84 guitar, it's got black hardware. Maybe I think it's 85 or 86, all pickups started looking like EMGs, you know, with the black smooth covers on it. So you can kind of tell just by looking at these things when things came out. And if you go back to sort of 81, things look like that. You had not necessarily DiMarzio Super Distortion, but DiMarzio Super Distortion looking pickups, fancy coffee table wood and brass. But But there's one, and the guy, he's only wanting $250 for it, and the thing is absolutely beautiful. It's got the old Westone logo, which I don't like as much. It kind of looks a bit like a cartoon show or something where it says Westone. If you've ever seen the Baby Metal Docky Morning video, if you've not seen it, look at that and expect sickness. It kind of looks like that. It's a sort of, it kind of reminds me of a guitar. I used to have a guitar. It was a double cut thin line Telecaster, and it was called Woody. Was the name, and the Woody writing looked like it was a cartoon sticker, and it totally ruined the whole guitar just by the actual font that the logo was written in. It just looked, like it looked like it was like a kid's TV show. And no, you can't call it Woody, and you can't have like a sort of Woody. It kind of ruined the guitar. It was good. Thunders are dream. No, you get Thunders, no problem. Oh, maybe you don't get them in America. They were huge here. They absolutely destroyed everything when they came out here. If you ever look up any guitar books, the history of guitar things that are relatively modern, they all mention the Westone Thunder because it came out at, you're getting a pro level as at the similar level to like your most expensive Gibsons and all that at like a quarter of the price, and that's for the basic. That's for the Thunder 1. When you get to Thunder 2, it's set neck, and the Thunder 3's through neck. Actually, my pal Wayne's got a Thunder 3 bass that he got for absolutely sod all, because there was a time when there must have been a flaw in it, and what they did was they cut the top off the headstock where it said Westone, like because it was like a factory second or it had been damaged, so nobody could sell it at full price. So it's got like a stumpy headstock. I mean, there's enough room for the tuners. It's like you got your 4 bass tuners, and the headstock would normally come up about that much and say Westone. It's been cut off in the top, and it's really badly bashed. I think he paid something like 60 quid for it. I was playing it in the summer there, and I sent him a link last night to someone selling one on eBay, and it's buy it now, $2,000 basically for the same bass, apart from in mint condition with a case and all that. But yeah, no, I mean, the Westone Thunders are amazing. I've just never bought one. I would be sorely tempted to buy that. I don't like the natural one because it's too common, but this one, actually, maybe I should just be buying it. I don't need it at all. So I've got the Prestige. See, I really should have a Thunder, but that was the best one I'd seen. The best one I've ever played. And it's not natural. It's got like, it's got the stringers in the middle, and it's a sort of cherry red translucent finish on either side. I think it's 1981 or 1982, so it's an early one. It's very nice with the brass knobs and stuff. You go and hug your Westone Thunder. I need to dig out my Prestige. I need to use it. Actually, I forgot. That's one of the few guitars I actually named. I named it Madeline after a song that I'd written. Like, I didn't write the words, but I wrote the music, and I had that guitar arrived that week, the first time we played it. So I call it, and I don't think I've ever actually used it in the studio. I want to buy factory seconds. Where's the pin? Don't know. This would have been a factory second in, I don't know, 1983 or 1984, whenever the bass was from. I suppose it depends what the factory second's for. I mean, you get a lot of people like that who are complaining about getting the B stocks from Harley Benton, from Thoman. And it's like, if you know what it is, because I can understand you've just bought a brand spanking new guitar and there's a scratch, a big bastard scratch there. Damn right, you're not paying full for that. You send it back. I don't mind getting, if they're going to knock 20% off for a scratch in the back. It's like, oh, you're buying a guitar for 150 or 120 with a scratch there. That's fine. Maybe less with a big scratch here. But what happens if it's got like, the neck's bent or, something like that? It depends what it is that makes it not perfect. Some things I can handle, no problem. Damage in the back. But sometimes it's like, it's a big gouge, or, the bridge is snapped or something, or the bridge posts are missing. It's a B stock, but that's a B stock, not or sometimes it's something really simple. Like, there's a wee bit where the finish is a little bit thin or something like that. But yeah, you can't pay full whack for it. But I think you can get quite a lot of them from Harley Benton. Thunder 1 seems to be going for around $350 for a good example. Well, that one, that was a Thunder 2. It has had a neck repair, but it's just a tiny, maybe 10mm crack on either side, where it's been impacted, but you're never going to snap a Westone neck. You're just going to impact it. So basically the wood went and then came back. So it's been It's been repaired, which makes it not perfect, but it's 250 quid and it's a 2, and it's a really, really nice 2, and it's the most amazing colour. Yes, I'm in the USA. They're available online, not cheap. Earlier, so with Phoenix base is for $200. That's probably not too bad. I think the Phoenix base is very similar to our Spectrum base. You got other ones. Check out Gumtree Thunder one for $220. That's fine. I remember not buying a Thunder one for $90 years ago because I thought I can get them for cheaper than that. Depending, you just got to be in the right place at the right time. The problem and the thing that's good about now that everyone's eBay, things are changing because people can type in, "Oh, I've got this guitar, I don't know anything about it, Westone," and it says Thunder on it, so you know what it is. So everyone goes like, "I don't know, what's that guitar worth? I don't know, 50 quid or something." Or type it into eBay and say Westone Thunder. Oh, look, they're 200 quid, so they put it up for 200 quid. Whereas 10 years ago, not as many people had eBay. And it's like, it'd be different if it was a Fender or a Gibson. They know what that is, but Westone, don't know. So you did see them for 50, 60 quid. I mean, I bought a Westone Spectrum for 40. I paid 20 for my Concorde. Not going back that far. So there's a possibility of finding them in a charity shop or something like that. Not know what they are. If someone hasn't looked them up, you're not going to find them in like cash converters or anything like that because they sold so well, because they were so damn good. As soon as you type in eBay and look at complete listing, there will be Thunders on eBay just now. It's when you get to the more obscure one, like a Pantera. How much is that worth? You can go, well, if a Thunder's worth 250 or 300, what's this worth? And it's like, I don't know. Because if you look it up, there might be one on eBay, there might be one in complete listings, but I don't think so. Maybe only come up 1 or 2 a year, and then you start getting into the more obscure things, like, these sort of things. I mean, what's that worth? No idea. I've never seen another one, so I don't know. I kind of like that idea. Where are we going? The Westone Pantera is still up for sale. I like it. There was actually a Pantera bass. It was white. It looked lovely, but it was quite badly damaged. It was for sale for ages. I think it was 250 or 300. And I was tempted, but it's one of those things where it's kind of like, I've got the tendency to go, oh, that'll go with my guitar. And it's like, I try not to do that. And saying that, I just bought a guitar that went with that. And I've got the Thor Sound bass. And I've got the bass that goes with that. And I've got an EBO. So, I mean, I'm totally guilty of it. Anyway, and it's like, oh, do I get a Roadstar bass? Yeah, so I kind of try not to do that, but I ended up doing it. So I'm going to end up buying an Ibanez Roadster bass as well. But it has to be the one that I really like the look of. There was one that was saw on Gumtree the other day, but it was from 84, 85 when things started looking a bit like this. And it's like, no, I want the Blazer, the Roadstar that kind of looks like a P bass with the scratch plate and stuff. I don't really want all the black hardware and stuff. Unless it was cheap. Obviously, I'd buy any guitar if it's cheap enough. Oh, I bought a DC Junior from Harley Benton, and there was a black mark in the back of the neck. It was well, there you go. Even if it was a black mark in the back of the neck that didn't come off, it's on the back of the neck. Who cares? People in the market trying to sell Korean as Japanese. We know the truth. Happens all the time. There's all the Japanese Hondos. When I don't know what 90% of the Hondos are Korean. It's like, oh, Japanese company. The same with there's a problem with these as well, because this is getting a bit late. This is a Japanese one, but later on there's a Spectrum, a different Spectrum 3. You've got a Spectrum. Oh no, you said it was the right one. I think there is a Westone Spectrum 3, which is after 1987, which kind of looks like this. But you said it was the same when I was talking about the one that was kind of thunder shaped and stuff like that. It's 84 one. There is another one, and they're Korean, and it's got a headstock very similar to that shape, actually. It doesn't have the sort of, I don't know if you can see that's kind of curved. It's not just square in the edges, but it's that kind of shape. I've never played one, so I can't really comment. But if I'm going by what happened with Washburns and Arias, they were significantly not as good. Still decent guitars. What you get now is like, I don't know, equivalent like a Schecter, what do you call it, the Schecter Diamond Series or PRS SE, that kind of level. Still decent, £400 or £500 guitars, yeah, but not Matsumoku quality. I'm just going to go down to the bottom and catch up. Material movement driver. Again, I don't know, but it's like, wood does sort of crack, I suppose. It's like you get, I don't know, this doesn't, I'm choosing a guitar that doesn't actually have cracks in the neck. Again, if you're buying it new, then I wouldn't go for that. But do you have the blue Westone thing to hand? I do not know. I had a great idea of putting tape with written on it what it was that was in the gig bags. And then the last time I went to have a look, all the tape's fallen off. It's like I need to get some. I don't know how could I stick a label on a gig bag? I need to get like a, I don't know, like a stapler or something to do that. Oh, if it's a plastic jack plate, who cares about that? Just get another plastic. No, the plastic jack plate. I mean, even a crack in the wood isn't necessarily a bad thing. I mean, obviously you don't pay full whack for it. All right, Pontiac, I didn't even notice it. Have Thon Blue? Is it Thon Blue Hing? Yeah, totally. Okay. Take loops on the handles. Yeah, I could do it. Actually, maybe see if I got like the wee cardboard luggage straps, a wee crappy bit of string. I bet you can get them in the post office for about 50 pence. And then just write on it. I don't need to bother with tape. I just need to do that, yeah. I'm just trying to think. I haven't seen the Westone for a while. It's a really, really nice guitar. Like I say, when I bought it, I was just that little bit disappointed because of how much I paid for it compared to the Prestige, and they're both in the same catalogue, and the Prestige is twice the price. We never actually got into we need to do another guitar safari. We've still got another couple of guitar shops to go to. Didn't see an Eric Johnson Strat. I don't really know what an Eric Johnson Strat is. That not just like a tobacco sunburst Strat? Is there more to it than that? I don't know. I think I know who Eric Johnson looks like, but I don't know any of his music. He's not Tony Iommi, so I don't know who he is really. But I wouldn't worry about having wee cracks and things that don't matter. Maple neck thin line. Yes, I was just saying this, Scott. I think this might be a wee bit delayed. Yeah, didn't actually get into because some we did people out of the way. Yeah, I'm all for the glossy fingerboards as well. Definitely. Who's know anything about the 80s Stinger guitars? I don't know Stinger guitars at all. But most guitars in the 90s were made by Samick, basically. They were making Epiphones and Squires and Hondos and they did their own thing. Yeah, the plywood body. I think the problem with the plywood bodies wasn't an issue until the Yamaha Pacifica came out, because the Yamaha Pacifica advert said, "What's the body of your guitar made out of? Ask if it's available in a natural finish," because that was the big thing. Scott's actually got one hanging on his wall where you can get the natural finish Pacifica, because unlike the other bastards, we make them out of solid wood, and that's when. So you're talking right up to the early 90s. Fine, being made of plywood, nobody cared. It wasn't until that the Yamaha Pacifica came out that suddenly it had to be solid wood. I mean, it's more the necks. I mean, the things like the Samick, I bet the Samic's got a really nice neck on it, and it'll be a decent quality guitar, and basically the same as what you get now as a Korean guitar. Looks like Tom Petty's big brother. I don't know, Graham. I don't really know. Strung out. I've been in a couple of times, but I found it much more fun going in with Scott into the shops and talking about these things rather than just going yourself. Because I'll be honest, I feel a wee bit guilty because I'm not going in to buy anything, and it's unlikely I'm going to see anything that I'm going to buy. There's very few guitars in there that are at the sort of price range I'm willing to spend on a guitar, and so I'm kind of going in and looking for ideas to steal. So up here, look at the way those pickups are laid out. I could do that to a Buckycaster or something rather than actually looking at it. It's quite good going with Scott when you get to talk about these things. It's like, all right. And it's like the whole thing about if I had imaginary £1,000, which one of these would I get? You know, that kind of thing. But there's not really any chance that I'm going to buy £1,000 new guitar. The only £1,000 guitar I'm ever going to buy would be like if it was like I don't know. I suppose like you say, obviously, if it was a 50s Telecaster or something, it's not going to be £1,000, or you know, but something really, really old, and you're never going to see another one for, and it's a one-off, kind of like my Gibson EBO, that kind of thing. I'd buy that if it was a guitar type thing, like a 60s SG Special or something, possibly. I need to try the modern Aria guitars because they still make them, and they still do Aria, like is it STG they're called. And I'm sure they're pretty good. Talking about Japanese guitar, I bought an Aria Pro 2 Mac. And the Macs, are they still Japanese, the Macs? You sure? I thought the Mac series were the Korean era. Might be wrong. The last of the Japanese ones, as far as I was aware, 87, the same when Matsumoto closed down. If you look up all the stuff they tell you online, there was a fire, it burnt down, did it? Fuck. They basically the company was kind of half owned by the Singer sewing machine factory, and that was their biggest contract. And then they went bust, and then the factory didn't have enough of the guitar stuff to do it, so it basically just closed down. There wasn't like a fire, there's like a conspiracy and all that. It's just not there anymore. Yeah, my shops are boring guitars, ready to see something unusual. Yeah, I know what you mean. I think, to be honest, the last couple of years, things have got a little bit more exciting. The guitars are starting to do ones that are a little bit less boring, maybe, but I don't think those are the ones people buy. It's the old thing about, if you're going to try and sell a guitar, what do you want to make it? You got to make a blonde Telecaster or a Sunburst Strat or a Sunburst Les Paul, because that's what everybody wants. And it's like, I'm not like everybody. I don't want that, really. It doesn't appeal to me. I'd much rather have something. But then again, you know that you can sell it on because you're hitting such a wide range of things. You know, as soon as you start camming it down, hold on, there's an analogy brewing in my head just now. Toast. You're selling toast, right? Everyone likes toast. Some people pure love toast with Marmite on it, but 90% of people don't. Some people would want strawberry jam on it. So every time you do that and you're making it, whereas just like a bog standard tobacco Strat or a blonde telly or a thingy Les Paul is just toast that anyone can have. But as soon as you start putting other stuff on it, instead of painting it purple glitter, I've just put quail eggs on it. I'm sure that's really good, but a lot of people wouldn't like it. Folk would love it. Cool crowd. If it says made in Japan in the back, it probably is. If it doesn't say made in Japan in the back, it isn't. It definitely isn't. We're giving them free advertising. Yes, we are giving them free advertising. I'm expecting next time I go into Jimmy Egypt's to get like you're Mad Malco, here, have this. I don't know what it would be giving me. A sticker would be fine. Anything. A smile. A couple of people actually comment that video go, he's a grumpy bastard. It's like, well, maybe I'm not alone. I did think that for ages, but maybe you just got him on a bad day or something, or maybe he couldn't be bothered with you. I have not paid a Parker Fly, but they do look pretty cool. Not cheap though. I think there was a sort of cheaper one. That was kind of like basically a bit. I don't know. When did you say they were coming in the 90s? I think it was just something different. Was that not one of the first guitars to have a piezo bridge in it? I think that was one of their main selling points. I know it was a crazy shape, and I think it might have even been carbon fiber. The piezo bridge, so you could get acoustic sounds out of an electric, which in some regards works, but to get acoustic sounds out of electric, you need to put acoustic strings on the guitar, which means you can't play it like an electric. So you're always in that. That's why I built the double neck Telecaster that looks like out of a door, because then I had actually, rather than having the piezo pickup, I've got a Telecaster with a piezo pickup in it and acoustic strings on it, and then I've got a Telecaster with a telly bridge on it and electric strings on it. So it does actually sound like an acoustic and like an electric without compromising, because no matter how good your even those but the Fenders that look like they've got a toilet in the front of them, those ones that are thousands of pounds, and it's all modelling circuitry to make it sound exactly like an electric. What strings are you putting on it? Because I'm sure you can make it sound exactly like an electric if you put electric strings on it, but if you put acoustic strings on it, it won't sound like an electric, and vice versa. So you really need two sets of strings. And it's not just the fact that the G's wound. There's more to it than that. I had the same problem with it. Was it the Teleacoustic I had, which is like this sort of the mini Telecaster shaped Fender you could get, and it was it had electric strings on it. It sounded pish. Then I put acoustic strings on it, and it was like, it sounds like an acoustic now, but you can't. One or other. No one's. I don't think anyone's invented some way of somehow changing the strings between the two. So you just need two necks. But no, I've never played a Parker Fly. If I saw one cheap, I'd like a shot. If someone said you want a shot of this, I like kind of like all guitars. Glasgow shop's actually quite good. I've never. You're not a Jim Egypt fan. I don't know. I the first time I'd ever been in his shop because I met him, I don't know, 20 years ago, and I thought he was a dick. I talked to him for 2 minutes, so I just never went back. But then he seemed to be quite happy there. And actually, the guy in the Blitzkrieg shop, Tony, sold one of the Buckfast basses that I had in the window, and he said he got sent down from Jimmy Egypt's, and this is before I went into the Jimmy Egypt shop, but after. He told me after I'd been to Jimmy Egypt. I didn't know at the time, but apparently, so if someone had gone in and talked about the Bucky and he'd pointed him down to the Blitzkrieg shop, so kind of maybe getting a bit famous these days, which is nice. I don't know about the first Fender. I don't microamp, but did you know the Black Star Fly is amazing? What a difference that made in technology, and I'd imagine lots of people are doing the same sort of thing now. The whole idea about having like a mini amp that you can play at quiet volumes that actually sounds good, as opposed to the wee Marshall double stacks. Right? If you're camping and stuff, it doesn't sound like you can't. It's not a real guitar. An Italian guitar, a piece. I mean, it's still a different sound. It just doesn't. It gives you a different sound. It just doesn't sound like an acoustic. Try sticking acoustic strings on it. I bet you can strum it. It does sound like an acoustic. Hey, Kevin, are the 500k pots good or not so much? You've got a traditional tele pickup in the neck, an unback humbucker. Lore has it that you use 250k pickups, a B for the volume and an A for the treble for single coil pickups, and you use 500k pickups for humbuckers. Ultimately, you can use either. It'll still work. Just remember B's volume and A's tone. If you use an A for the volume, you'll get. Hey, Jez. Okay, I'll start drinking next week again. I'll get another bottle of Bucky. Thanks very much. He's asked me a good question now for that. I'll even play something. I'll play some Oasis. Who was it that was talking about Oasis earlier on? Since I'm not drinking, I should make this a tribute to the great Noel Gallagher. That ability to make music for people who don't like music but like the idea of liking music. What an idea! Got so much money for doing that. Classical guitars are still some of the most expensive guitars around. I don't know. They're kind of. You see, I don't know anything about them. The thing about classical guitars, if you're looking for a traveling guitar, right? Rather than buying like a mini guitar with a wee Black Star Fly or like a Martin backpacker, I would just be tempted to buy like the crappy nylon stringer you get in Argos for 30 quid, because they sound all right, and you just put them in your bag, and if it breaks, you can, or if you're cold, you can burn it or something. You can still play it. I don't know. The only classical guitar I've got is an old Ibanez. It was actually the first Ibanez I bought, so I was like, I've got an Ibanez, like an old 70s one. Now, it's actually hand signed by the guy who made it, whoever it is. Tried to sell it, no one was interested, so I don't know what to do with it. Yeah, that blue bass, I saw it. EMG pickups, and I like the neck on it, looked really good. I'm not sure, I don't know. I'm not sure they will be, I don't know. Yeah, no, it looked pretty good. I was meant to go to, said I would go around and see him. I was going to do a collaboration video with him, because he's bought about 20 basses since the last time I was around at his house. So I was going to do a sort of collaboration. But because I was shitting it for the gig on Saturday night there, I wanted to spend the day really making sure that there was a possibility that if I couldn't hear myself on stage, I could still play the songs, which was just as well. Actually, when you listen back to the video, it's not nearly as bad as I thought it was at the time. The sound on stage was non-existent. It was like pure. All I could hear was just noise when I played any notes. As soon as I stopped playing, the noise went away, but it was just feedback. There was no actual sound. Pro classical, $3,000 for a decent one. I don't know anything about them. I know you can buy really expensive ones. I don't know anything about classical guitars, but I do think that, see, if you're talking about buying the cheapest guitar you can possibly buy that works, it's easier. The £30 GP Encores or whatever you get in Argos work, whereas when you get electric guitars at that price, they don't. Yeah, I agree, Mr. White. There's no way I'm ever spending £3,000 on a guitar. There's no way I'm spending £3,000 in guitars. Oh no, I've done that, but not one. For £3,000, I get 10, 15 guitars, and it takes me 3 years to do it. It was me playing "Don't Look Back in Anger" for Making Sense of the Great Sir No. I don't know the chords, but I know the rhythm. I need more distortion. Don't look back in anger today. I'm quite pleased I don't know. I'm pretty pleased you didn't see Wonderwall, because I think I actually know how to play that. Well, I don't know. It's like, you could always try me. I'm a sellout. Was there a super chat there when I play an Oasis song? Well, I don't know. It's like, Noel obviously sold his soul before he even started playing music that's utter shite. So he knew it, and he knows it. It's not like he's not going, oh no, here's my artistic vision. He doesn't give a shit. He knows it's chewing gum, not food. It's just like you just sell out immediately, and it's like I've still got some dignity. Okay, I take the piss at myself. I've still, and I don't mind acting the fool, but I've still got dignity somewhere. I've still got morals and the sense of what's right. So I will never sell out that way unless the money was really good and I could do something else with it. Yeah. But no, sorry, I don't know anything about classical guitars really, apart from I bought one. All right, you're talking about. I'm sorry, I get sidetracked from that. Talking about the pots. Was it I take it if you're sitting there with a. You can actually get a switch that kind of does. You can add in a resistor which kind of faux does it. I couldn't get it to work. I did it in one of Scott's guitars. It didn't work. That managed to get it working. Yeah, so it's like there's your question. It's like, yeah. So, do you want if you've got a splittable single coil? So it's up here, yeah. So there we go. I assume this is a 500k pot. And if you split it, is it 500k? Yeah, the 500k must make it brighter. So the 250k must make it darker. The 500k makes it brighter, and the 1 meg pots you get in a Jazzmaster or a Jaguar make it much brighter. So the higher the K number, the brighter it is, the lower it is, the muddier it makes it. So that's like you take like a Strat pickup, it's very bright. Use a 250k, which makes it less bright. So if you use 500 to make it overly bright, that's how it goes. Yeah, I need to go around and see Buster. He's not. I think he said he was working tonight. No, he messaged me and he said, what was it? I read the message entirely wrong. What was it? He said, I'm free till Monday, was what he said. And then I was up here, yeah, I need to come over. I'm going to do a video, see how your bass like up here. So I'll come over on Monday. And he's like, no, I didn't Monday because what he said he was free till Monday. I thought he said he was free on Monday. See, and then I was like, oh, well, got to practice for the gig, going to the gig, hungover today. So I'll see him next week. We'll go around and run through some stuff, get some 2 bass jams on the go. That's always. I'll be fuzz bass. It'll be fine. Well, Graham, what you've gone for there is what's the best guitar to buy for the money, and it's just buy a Yamaha, and you're that. Yeah. That's what I would have done. If you'd gone into the shop and you'd said, which one of these should I buy? And there was a Yamaha there, you go, the Yamaha. It's possible there's maybe one slightly better, but not, you never get a shit Yamaha. The same goes for, if you're going to buy a £200 bass, there's the wall of basses. What's the best one? There's a Yamaha one there. It won't have the same resale value as the Fender one or the Gibson or the Epiphone one, but it'll be a better thing. I've still yet to find a not good Yamaha guitar. And my first acoustic was a Yamaha, and I went into McCormick's in Glasgow on my 18th birthday with 200 quid cash, and I only played the guitar for 6 months, so I could only play a few chords, and I tried every guitar in the shop between 150 and 250 quid. I must have been 250 quid. Between 150 and 250 quid. Maybe about 8 or 10 guitars, and I just kind of went on each one, and my Yamaha was just the loudest, the brightest, and the best of all of them. Maybe it was just the most in tune, maybe the nicest strings, maybe it was the best setup, but it was the best one in the shop. That was the one I bought. So I had 250, I ended up paying 170, something like that. And it sounded better than it. So basically, you can't go wrong with Yamaha. Keep buying more Yamahas. I know I've got several. Do I own a Yamaha bass? I do. It's in Bitstow. When I bought my Aria back 2 years ago, the guy was selling a Yamaha bass that had been smashed, had been dropped at the same time. I think he only wanted 50 quid for it or 70 quid, something like that. And it was a 400 series. It was a good one. It's active pickups, massive pickups. I've still got it. I stripped it down, fixed it. I've tried dip painting it a few times. It never seems to work. So it's still hanging up in the garage. And I bought that, and it was like, that wasn't expensive, but as soon as I saw it, I was crying, and I just gave the guy the money. I was like, no haggle at all. Is that you could see him kind of going. I was kind of expecting to haggle. Is that because I was pure in tears, going, "Oh, I got this bag. Lost this 20 years ago." Is that? Well, no one's interested in this. You just have it. So I got a Yamaha bass free with it, even though I paid well into the odds for that. So thank you, whoever you were. Incidentally, that was gigged. That was the one I was playing in standard tuning on last night. And the last time I gigged that was in 1998 in Strathclyde Union, the Cavern Bar, in a band called The Comfy Chair. And we were terrible. And then I sold it a few weeks later, and then I got it back a couple of years ago, the exact same one. Yeah. What I do, the thing about Yamahas is they're always good. They just maybe don't have the correct styling. The ones I really like are the samurai ones, or they're called the ones that got the samurai headstock. They're called SGV. I really think I really like the look of them. I don't know if there's a bass version. I would have thought so. Have you tried an ARC guitar? Got a PRS copy of Chinese and surprisingly nice. The name kind of rings a bell. I don't know. I don't know, but the thing about yes, I mean you get perfectly good. Yes, if you get a chance to play these things, yes, you can totally get. I mean, I was picking up. I picked up a few like a good few Telecasters in China, and they were awesome and they were super cheap. But I kind of had the ability to send them back. So whenever I've got videos of them up, and people are at what's the It's like, where can I get this on AliExpress? It's like, yeah, but on AliExpress, it's like, you can't send it back if it's crap because you've paid £100 for the guitar and £150 postage plus whatever import fees. So if you had to send it back, you just have to spend. You've basically bought it. There's nothing you can do. Whereas I was in China, so if I got it and it was crap, I could go here, send it back, and even if I was paying the return postage, it was like £3 or something. Yeah, I'm not a super fan of the RBX shape. I do. The BB is good. I would probably say that the Neon, the 400 series is probably a mid-range one. The pickups look amazing. I kind of don't want to take them and use them for something else. It's very tempting to. The thing is, I know it's going to be an amazing bass. I know it's. Oh, an SC400 and 600, David Popel. Yes, I've got a 400. That was after Doctor Who appeared with a Yamaha Samurai in a gladiator arena, like in Roman times, on top of a tank with a Yamaha SG5 playing Pretty Women, and it was up here. I want one of those Yamahas, and the SC400, although it's not one of those SGV ones, it's got the headstock on it, and it's sort of odd upside down shape. It's beautiful. Yes, I know the 600. The thing, it was a 400 I bought anyway, right? But the thing I didn't like about the 600 is because it's got it's a through neck, which is great, love it. But it's got like a carve, like the way a Strat does, and because it's got a carved top on it, it kind of, you can see it's got like, the top ends there, and I find that a little bit ugly. Incidentally, the 600 is the one that has coil taps in it, and I thought I'd love coil taps. The 400 doesn't have coil taps, but it does have the coil tap pickups in it, and apparently the one I've got, because I did it myself, my coil tap switch taps all 3 pickups, whereas I think the original SV 600 it only taps the outside 2, because I don't think you got 9-pole pickups 9-pole switches back then. Is that right, David Popel? So when you tap the pickup, when you tap the pickup, the middle one doesn't tap. Whereas if you can get a 9-pole switch into it, and it does. But you can also put that into there. Yeah, I wouldn't have said it's really. I don't think it's a veneer. It's more of a. I think you'd argue it's a cap. It's maybe 5 mil thick, something like that. It's not. A veneer would be wafer thin. Ibanez make a good fit. I bet you they did. Oh, you're talking about the SB1000. I would also imagine that SB1000s are amazing. I've never seen one cheap enough. I do have a PB1500, which is higher up in the range, but it's Les Paul shaped and a completely different thing. I don't really like fretless basses either. Yeah, the F310 is the cheapest one. Yeah, that was the one that was like a £90 guitar when I bought mine. So it was a laminate top. Mine's an it's an FG. Maybe an F300 is different. That might be an older one or something. Mine's an FG 411S for solid top. 170, 180 quid McCormick's in 1998, 1987, something like that. It was really good. Still got it. Actually, it's amazing. I kind of put it away because I thought the frets were knackered. From me strumming too many A minor chords, basically. And once I sort of realised what it was fretting, it was like there was plenty of life left. I took them down and recrowned them, and the guitar's brilliant. I was like, wow. Because I just once I decided I thought the frets were knackered, it just went into its case and stayed there for, oh God, a decade, maybe, something like that. And I went back to it, it's like, these aren't that bad at all. I just sorted it out, a bit of adjustment. It's a great new guitar, and it's now vintage. Oh, I was totally vintage, even though I bought it new. And it's because it's got like a solid wood top. It's going to have aged, maybe. Yeah, that sounds right. Good. I see if you put drummer. Drummer sounds better. It could be drummer. So I've got an acoustic just to. In fact, you can get. I saw. Where's it? It wasn't a joke. Somebody actually makes like the cajon you sit on. You can actually buy a cajon that's shaped like an acoustic guitar body. So it's got like a snare in below it. So it's like you basically, instead of having the box you sit on for slapping, you've just got like basically an acoustic guitar body. And it's just, what a good idea that is. Amazing. Or maybe just use an old guitar body. You just cover a guitar you already own. Yeah. I don't know if I particularly. Yesterday, my cousin gave me an Ibanez SR300. I think the SR300 is the one. Is it maybe an SGR 300, or is it the same shape as an SGR? The G might stand for Geo, so maybe that's the cheaper one. But I know the ones that are amazing. They really are. They're just ugly, but they're kind of not actually. They're kind of going in this direction shape wise, but they've got like a wee headstock, which I'm sure is amazing for balance and all that stuff. I just like ones that have got a bit of a look to them. That's when I was playing these two in Black Sabbath. Neither of them were used in Black Sabbath, but it could have been. Whereas you get this a modern one, I don't know. There's something I don't like about them. You ever get into Avenged Sevenfold? I don't know anything about them. I did I saw them at Download, would that be 3 years ago? And I can't remember Avenged Sevenfold. Is that the one with Sinister Gates in it? I think it was Bullet for My Valentine and Avenged Sevenfold, and me and my pal Wayne, I'd never really heard either of them. And they were really good. I really enjoyed the concert. It's like, yep, and you could sort of, when you go and see a band sometimes, and even though you don't know them at all, and you can tell why they're popular just after when you watch the live show. It wasn't really my kind of music, but watch it go, it was thoroughly entertaining, something for everyone. And yes, quality bands. I can't remember. I think they might even, I can't remember which band. One of them played Wish You Were Here by Pink Floyd, a big sing song. It was quite funny. But it was an enjoyable gig, and they were quality pro musicians. And they were up there. Yeah, I can't remember what they sounded like, but they are good, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. And they were stars. You could see them, with the guy who plays that the Sinister Gates guitar. That might be his name, or that's what the guitar's called. It's a Schecter thing. And what he was playing, you could see that he was. It's like when I saw Dimebag Darrell playing with Pantera. Not my kind of music, but as soon as Dimebag Darrell walked out on stage, it's like, all right, I understand. I can see why everyone loves him. The showman, just amazing. I don't know that much about it. Unlike Slipknot, you go, oh, maybe I'll like Slipknot. They were fucking awful. God, sorry if you're. There's a taste element here, but I don't know. Why do people like what? I didn't understand it at all. This is just crap, just awful. My God, it's like pure horrible music, and then pure awful Nirvana type singing. Oh God, it was terrible. I know some people said it was the best gig they've ever been to, and I'm like, what? Don't understand. Sometimes you just go and see a band and they're amazing. Green Day was one of them. Not really a big Green Day fan. Pal made me go. Thoroughly enjoyed it. Fantastic. Crowded House, the same pal made me go. Don't really know any Crowded House. Really enjoyed it. Can't remember it. Can't really remember any of it, but I totally enjoyed it. It was great fun. Thoroughly wasn't bored. There was a little bit of everything in it. Enough to be a show. That's fine. You don't have to. You can still be entertaining and good at what you do. It's the same thing as like pure. I remember I was wondering, how come Elvis is the king? I don't understand. He's not that good. I've heard some of the songs. Yeah. Is it just because he was about the 50? I don't understand. Why do people like him when he's like fat and wearing the karate suit and all that? And then there's a DVD called That's the Way It Is. And about 10 minutes into that, you go, yeah. I get it. I get it. Elvis is king. Totally get it. I just, yep. And then all the way through, you go, yep, yeah, totally. I know. Yes, he is. Undeniable. Elvis, it's a 1970 to 72 type era. His band are just amazing. Best bass player in the world, Jerry Sheff. It's like playing along with how many 20s of people in the band, 10s of people in the band, and every song has got bass. It's just bam, 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 diddle, diddle, bam, bam. The loudest thing by miles, but he leaves enough space for them. Amazing. Yeah, I just knew Dimebag from the few guitar magazines I ever bought because he was always. I remember I think it was a Washburn advert where it was called the Slime Bag or something. His guitar. It was basically lying on the ground with a guitar on him and like with a bucket of green slime on him going, ah! And it's like it's like a full page advert. It's like didn't mind laughing at himself, but when I saw him, it was I think it was Pantera. It was his Ozfest '98, so I was like 17 or 18. I was down to see Black Sabbath, the headliners, and all these bands were on, and then it was like when Dimebag came in, it wasn't really weird. Out he came, and it was just like pure, and it was like he had the big Confederate flag pointy guitar and stuff, and it was amazing. And it was like the best thing with that Ozfest was the two stages were like, so you're in a big bowl. You ever seen Queen at Milton Keynes Bowl? There's a video of that. It's that bowl. So it's a big bowl, and the two stages were like the main stage was here, and then the smaller stage was 3/4 of the size and here. So you had the main stage, we're watching the main band, and then the second band would come on, and there'd be like a curtain, and be doing they'd set up, and then the curtain would come down, and then they would be like up here, hey, there's up here, hi, we are, I don't know, Cold Chamber. When Pantera good, and then Pantera would be like up here, yeah, man, cheers, that's great. Have a good gig. Like, cheers, mate. And we'd just be shouting at each other over the tannoy, and then everyone would just go. And then you'd watch the second. So there was no gaps in the music at all. And you didn't have to do any travel. You could just sit on the same spot and then obviously the mosh pit would go in front of the other one and back again. It was one of the ones that really came in. I don't get stuff. I don't know. Because I mean, the thing is that Baby Metal, my favourite bands, kind of do the heaviest thing that Slipknot do, but they only do it for a very short amount of time and they use it very musically, whereas I just didn't understand it. I didn't understand it. I love you too, Stevie G. The Volcano was giving it loudy. Let's see if you're right, Scott. I'll do some technology since I'm not drinking tonight, so I can probably manage it. F11 YouTube. I'm sure it'll be in my. Adverts, bastard. Now, we were watching this on Saturday up at Scott's, and it was like I was there till 2:30 in the morning or something. From starting to watch this about 10, but you listen to it, it's like brilliant. Oh, it's good. And we're sitting there, we're talking about it's happy on that bit. It seems to be a sort of secondary put at the bottom. Yeah, it's looking good. It's looking good. Yeah, I'll maybe watch a bit of Volcano. I need to start going. It's been nearly 2 hours and I'm sober. The Red Bull has kept me alive though. What I really need now is food. That was one thing about the bad thing about the gig thing last night, Wolstonbury. It said professional barbecue. So we're like up here, yes, right. There's hundreds of burgers and hundreds of rolls. You have to make them yourself. So if you're on, like, you kind of got to, because I'm in two of the bands, I've kind of got to watch the other two bands as well. And there was only 10 minutes between them. So I didn't have an option to make sausages. So I just basically didn't have anything to eat until all the bands were finished. And somebody did make sausages. But it was all right. I just wish somebody had been maybe made 20 burgers for or maybe even just made burgers for the bands. Yeah, so I'm going to tie it up now. Westbury. If we're just talking about Westbury, Westbury's interesting. My pal Ste has got he's in his Westbury's. I think Dava's got one as well. Yes, they're really good. They're different ones. I found out there was another model. So there's a Westbury Standard, which is like a flat top. There's a Westbury Deluxe, which is a carved top, and then there's a Westbury Custom, which is like a carved top binding fancy block marker. So it's a kind of three in the range. There might even be another one, I can't remember. But they're Matsumoku Bill. The reason I never bought one really is because I've got an Aria PE 600, which is made in the same place. It kind of looks the same, but it's not really that similar. It's a bit more extreme. Mosh Pit reminds you of an Anthrax gig I went to. My pal, I don't really know Anthrax either. My pal Alan, who I keep fixing his guitars, I fixed his you not paid me for it yet. The white Jackson I put, that's for Aaron Thrax. Aaron's an island off the west coast, just at Glasgow. I don't really know Anthrax enough. I kind of he sent me some songs and it seemed nice. I quite liked it, yeah, but I just maybe just didn't feel. I don't know. It didn't really feel for me. I don't know. Yeah, if you can get the Westburys are amazing. I just never really seen. You don't see them cheap. There was actually someone selling one that was quite cheap. They also come with actual DiMarzio super distortions. If you've got one that's actually still got its original pickups, they are actually DiMarzio super distortions. Not, well, I say copies that are in that. They're not really copies. Are Ibanez Super 70s, which you could argue are their own thing. Hey, Buster. Yeah, and you spelt it right. To be honest, we were actually talking about you earlier on. We called you. Someone called you a dick. I can't remember who it was. Yeah, so I'm sober. So my gig went last night with the Free Bucky Bar, and there was no chance I was. There was a point when I came back about lunchtime, I was thinking I'm going to be all right. I maybe have a wee. And like no, because I wasn't going to have a bucky, but my pal gave me a couple of cans of rosé cider because he didn't like it. Pal Rab, the other night, so I could have had that, but no, not going to do it. Yeah, Buster. So I was saying I was meant to come. You need to go over and do a video. Meet Buster video thing. Maybe you get some more subs and stuff, and see some of your guitars. Matt stretched out with the Westbury assessment. That's very possible. Yes. So when would the Westbury be? That would be maybe they're not so much 80s. They're more yeah, that'd be more sort of mid 70s. I don't know. A lot of things changed around about the mid 70s when Ibanez started doing. They started making their own things. I think Westbury were one of them, but Westbury were an American company who got Matsumoku to make guitars for them, whereas Aria were a Japanese company that got Matsumoku to make guitars for them, and Ibanez were a Japanese distributor who got, you know, all these things that kind of come in. It's like, that's amazing how just by, see, because you've accidentally hit a space there, it's like pure, yeah, the Westbury scam with the DiMarzios. It's like, that's not a scam. And it's like, no, it's meant to be the Westburys came with DiMarzios. Yeah, so I'd agree with that, late 70s. Yeah. 77. Yeah, but I mean, I think you're probably quick. My Aria PE is 78. They may be pretty quick to cotton on. You know, maybe not talking, oh, yeah, it's obviously a copy because look, my fly's down. Yeah. Yeah, so, right, so I've got to play a song to end with. I don't know what songs I can sing. I don't want to get a copyright strike. I did it, but doing the Black Sabbath Tony Iommi thing, my version of Tomorrow's Dream must have been too close, and I got I got copyright striked for it, so I just took it out. Do a video of relicing a guitar. I've only ever reliced one guitar, and it was kind of like a bit of a joke. I don't relic guitars, unless the problem. The reason I did the one I did was because it was an amazing blue color, but it was like there'd been a sticker on it or something, so there was a bit that kind of gone tan, and apart from that, it looked really good. So I didn't want to get rid of it. So I basically took it out and I kind of rubbed it against the brick wall, and then I just had the body its own. I was actually flinging it down the street and stuff, which was hilarious. And you see the amount of noise on a wee quiet street like mine makes when you've got like a obviously body guitar wood, pure resonant, and literally rolling it down the middle of the street. I could see all the neck curtains going, stuff like that. It was amazing. Yeah, I mean, as Jonathan doing it actually just for views, I could do. The problem with the relicing thing is just it looks shit if it just looks like you took an angle grinder or a belt sander to it. That just looks crap. That's not how it works. You know, relicing should be. I mean, half the guitars I've got are relics, but I mean, you know, like actual relicing. The thing is, when you relic poly, you know, it's like, you know, that kind of damage is real, and the neck on this is absolutely. It's amazing. It's got so many dents in the neck, you can't feel any of it. It just feels like it's a 3D neck. Yeah, maybe it just have to be the right guitar to try and relic. I don't know what one it would be. The problem with the relicing thing is people want it to look like, you know, Rory Gallagher's or something, and it's only going to do that if it's like a nitro finish and it's an expensive. You know, you can't. There's not really any way of picking up a you know, like a more, you can't really pick up a £200 or £300 guitar, any guitar under a couple of grand and relic it to look real. It's always going to look really fake. I mean, even I had a shot of I've talked about this hundreds of times. It was £8,000 Gibson 58 relic Les Paul, and it's got like the binding. You know, you get like the binding on something like this. It's not white. It's gone naturally over time. That sort of creamy color. Yeah. On this Les Paul, it looked like, see when you buy, if anyone's ever done it, you buy like pickup covers from China, and you get the choice of black, white, or cream. It looked like that. It's that horrible, very obviously been made this color binding. This guitar was £8,000, and it wasn't anything like as good as that guitar. Worth £8,000 though. Nothing in that, but it was a 58 relic. Yeah. Right, so I've got a song to leave. and I was completely wasted. I burned the strain, it was a trip from town to town. I don't know, does I care if I live or die? If I do run to self to get some action in my life. Making the law, 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 making the law. So much for the older future, I can't even start. And the drum is broken. Really hard. Anger in my hand. You don't know what it's like. You don't have a clue. If you did, you'd find yourself doing the same things too. Breaking the law, 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 breaking the law. You don't know what it's like. Breaking the law, breaking the law, breaking the law, breaking the. Blazing. Oh, I don't know. I can't remember how it goes. Blazing Saddle would be amazing. I totally spent so long working on that. Get a stupid amount of time. He rode a plane. He rode a blazing saddle. He wore a shiny star. His job to offer battles to bad men near and far. He conquered fear and he conquered hate. He turned out lion today. He made a blazing saddle, a charge to light the way. Oh, when outlaws ruled the West and fear gripped the land, and calling out for a man with guts to take the routing friend. They needed a man who was brave and true, with justice for all as his aim. Then out of the sun rode a man with a gun, and Bart was his name. Bart was his name. He rode a blazing saddle. He wore a shining star. His job to offer battle to bad men near and far. He conquered fear and he conquered hate. He turned dark night into day. He made a blazing saddle, a charge to light the way. Yay! Right, that'll do it. Was it? There wasn't not that many people commented on when I said when we yeah, and that one I didn't start off trying to do a reggae version of Breaking the Law. There, I just thought, well, Scott was showing me something. I can't remember, was it Paranoid? Maybe it wasn't Breaking the Law. They did. It was some other song that they'd done in a reggae style. Maybe it was Breaking the Law. Maybe I just stole that idea. Somebody did a thing that Bad used to be in. You've never seen Blazing Saddles? Really? Expect it to be the funniest thing ever. Yeah, it was there's guys, but they're hiring people for like a gang of murders and cutthroats to go and do an attack. Is that what qualifications you got? Is that rape, murder, arson, and rape? And is that up there? You said rape twice. I like rape. Yeah. Catch you all later. I'll be probably back to drinking next week. I'll be honest. I don't feel like it just now though. I feel terrible. It's because I shout. I'll just mic the bastard up. Maybe get him to talk through a megaphone or something like that. The sheriff's in there, yeah, expect to see things. Oh, I know what it is. It's the fact that the cursor's are way over there. No Irish. The thing is that beans bit was the bit that was the problem bit. The other bit, I watched I got the DVD with like about 20 seconds of deleted scenes, and one of them was the bit where it was is it when it goes dark and Madeline Kahn's like, is it what they say about you people? It's like, it's true, and then it fades away. But what was actually meant to be the next time was meant to be, lady, you're sucking on my leg. Night, love you all. Catch you later.